Lately, the best word that I have to describe life is magical. It just feels so fitting right now. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how much, so I don't know how to express that, how much your outside world reflects your inside world. And when you change your thoughts and your perception and your reactions, everything changes around that. It is pretty insane. And literally, magic occurs, miracles happen, prayers get answered. These things are real. I am experiencing it. When you meditate, when you do things that you love, that your heart and your soul call for, and you surrender yourself to a higher power of whatever you choose, and you trust and have faith, it's incredible how things start to work out in weird ways. And even when you feel like you don't know how something's going to get accomplished, that is the moment exactly when you need to put full trust into God or a higher source of whatever you're choosing. Because somehow things always seem to work out. And it comes down to really being present and trying to stay in the moment as much as you can. Especially those moments when you're like pissed off or frustrated, or you notice that you're feeling fear about the way that the world is going. That right then is when you're supposed to check your ego, and all of your concerns, all of your fears, all the negative shit, that's your ego, and that's your inner child searching, like trying to get you to pay attention to it. But not in the way that you feed it more, but so that you acknowledge it, recognize it. Our ups and downs of emotions are there for a reason, and our feelings, they're not meant to be stuffed down like something's wrong. Oh, you're angry, or you're sad, you're scared. Okay, well, what is that trying to teach you? What do you need to go into in that moment? And then when you start to really notice that it's kind of like, okay, here, let's use like money for an example. Are you worried about not having any money? What does worrying do? What does being fearful do? And when you put your mind on things, you get more of it. So it's kind of like when you just approach things as is, just it is what it is, then things just start to work out better. I don't know how else to describe it. It's crazy. It is like full surrender, full faith, full belief in knowing, and putting your mind on the things that you want and becoming that which you want before you have it, and embodying that. Embodying the life you want to live any way that you can before you have it. I'm sure most of you have heard the saying, hang around the people you want to be like. Find friends, because you become the people you surround yourself with. So find new friends if they're not lifting you up and serving you. If you have friends that don't have what you want, I mean, I'm not saying to not be friends with them, but really be selective and careful in who you surround yourself with. Are they just sucking from you and draining you? Or do they give back to you? Do your friends and your associates have something for you to aspire towards? Like, really get into what it is that you want, and really get into present moment as much as possible. Today, I just was in awe for some reason today. It just felt very connected, and, just sitting in traffic, driving through the city, and just when you're stopped at a light, just like I was noticing the trees, just observing, just looking at all the different plants around and how much everything, there's trees and shrubs just kind of tucked in everywhere in the city. And, just being. We're human beings. And when you can just be, and when you can just experience the magic of life and the awe and wonder that is creation, my God, things start to change. Things really start to change. When you shift your mindset, I literally have taken myself away from all of the dark, evil, agendas and all this shit that's happening. I don't care anymore. That's not the reality that I want to choose to live in. And so, you always have a choice. You always have a choice. You could be sitting in a jail cell and you have a choice. You can choose how you think about things. Are you going to choose to sit around in fear and wallow in your worry and your fear of what might be? When you have anxiety, or you're stressed or angry, or whatever negative emotion, you're either existing in the future or the past, neither of which exist right now. In your physical moment, in this second, you are not in the past or the future. You're not physically there. That's all in your mind. So therefore, when you change your mind, your physical reality begins to reflect that, because everything is energy and everything is interconnected. So when you shift your mind, you change your energy, your mind thoughts and energy that's going out, the things that come back to you match it. And it's fascinating. Prove it wrong. Try to prove it wrong. It's kind of a fun game. But it's a magical game. I don't have any other words. I might share some specific stories later, but right now it's just too surreal. This world is, it's an illusion. First of all, it is not some physical, hard, materialistic reality. Everything is on a subatomic and quantum level is figments of our thoughts. It's all consciousness. It's all consciousness. We could literally shift the trajectory and the way things are going in an instant. If we had enough people who had the same intentions, ideas, goals, wanted the same thing, none of these shenanigans around, you know what's going on. None of this would be able to transpire. People are getting so stuck on, the towers and the chemicals and all the problems. But what are the solutions? The solutions start within. They start in your mind. They start in your intentions. They start in your heart. And focus on the things you want. Everybody's so focused on the things they don't want. Guess what? We're getting more of what we don't want. Stop thinking about that shit. You're helping to create the things we don't want by thinking about it. Yes, it's good to be aware so it propels you into something greater, like growing your own food, moving to a homestead, animal husbandry, clean house products, whatever, that's great. Learn about the bad shit and the scary shit, and then do something constructive with it. We create the reality we experience. That's all there is to it. Nobody can convince me or tell me otherwise. And if you think otherwise, you are creating more of that. That's how it works. It's pretty compelling when you realize that you are in full control. And it takes practice. This isn't like snap a finger and everything's different. I mean, it could be, but realistically, it takes a little time to recondition yourself and reprogram and rewire your brain into something that's a little more productive and, positive and healthy. And, some things take time. It's like when you plant a seed in the garden, it takes time for the seed to germinate and then grow into a tree or a bush or whatever, and then it takes time for it to fruit. Things take time, and that's where faith comes in, and that's where belief comes in. You have to maintain that knowing and that belief that your thoughts are creating your reality. And the life and the situations you're experiencing now are a manifestation of things that you thought yesterday and in your past. So your thoughts today, they create your world tomorrow. And your thoughts yesterday created your world today. I mean, you could give yourself like a 30-day challenge or something. See what you can do with it. Like create something, manifest something. See if it's more than just like a 30-day challenge though. This is like a lifestyle. This takes time to really get into the habit and the practice of being conscious and aware, being aware of your feelings in the moment, being aware of your thoughts in the moment. Are you really aware and conscious when somebody triggers you, or do you let it overtake you and consume you and you just go into this rage because someone's being an idiot and you're like, oh, this fool, this idiot, but really that person is you and they're reflecting something in you. So that moment is when you need to stop and be like, what is it in me that I need to look at and that I need to learn? That person is encountering, like that situation is coming into your life because you're attracting it in because of something within you, something energetically or some thought is creating that circumstance. You're bringing it about. I don't know how else to put it to you. That's exactly what's happening. And when you start noticing these circumstances and situations, when you start paying attention to those moments that you get pissed off and frustrated, and you shift that perspective to something like, well, they must be miserable. I feel sorry for them. Or, oh, this guy just cut me off and flipped me off and he's being a total jerk. You feel mad for a second and then you're like, oh, well, it is what it is. I guess I hate their life. Or I guess, everything is happening in a perfect time as it should. And you always get there on time. Or it was, you could say, this is preventing me from something undesirable. And it just, you could do some deep abdominal breathing. If you take like 10 deep breaths in the moment when you're pissed off or you're upset over something, you will not be upset anymore. Guarantee it. You can't be pissed off and upset when you're deep abdominal breathing. Not through your upper chest, like it's low. Try to breathe in without even expanding your rib cage. Really low in your stomach. Like a baby. If you've ever seen a baby breathing, they breathe through their stomach into their lower abdomen. That is how we should be breathing. And nobody does it. You breathe in your upper respiratory areas when you're stressed, when you're in fight or flight, And it's become very habitual to us because we live in a society that's very angry and stressed, and it's all about survival and fight or flight, and no wonder everybody's sick, right? Stress is one of the number one causes of sickness and disease. And so in order to reduce and eliminate stress, you start with the breath and your thoughts and shift the perspective. It's super cool. It's super exciting. It's cool to see how things just start to like shift and change in your life. Like, you got to try it out. It doesn't cost anything. I mean, unless you want some extra help, I offer coaching for this type of stuff. But we're all capable of doing this. You still, even with a coach, you still have to do the work. You still have to have the intention and the want to change. Until you want to change, you're not going to change. That drive has to be there. Just like you can't take an alcoholic kicking and screaming to AA meetings and think that that's going to make them sober. Like court-ordered Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. How often is that successful? Never. Thoughts on Gaia? What do you mean by Gaia? Like the earth? The channel? You're going to have to elaborate on that one. But, yeah, I've had a really magical day. Actually, the last couple days. And it's kind of like it's getting that, once you get that momentum going, once you start noticing little things, little tiny things start to like work in your favor. Traffic will the seas just part. Like, things go smooth. Things flow better. When you surrender, and you truly surrender. Now, how do you surrender? I don't know. I've literally just like thrown my hands up. Like, I surrender. I surrender. How can I serve today? How can I release resistance today? It's cool. I just look at everything differently now. I don't fret and worry about what's coming and what's going on, because to every problem there is a solution. Do we want to look at the problem or do we want to look at the solution? It's your choice. It's always your choice. Thoughts on the Gaia channel? I don't watch it, so I don't really know what to say about it. Not a clue. I don't watch a lot of stuff. Like, the stuff I watch is a lot of like self-help type stuff on YouTube right now, or just, things on like consciousness. Wayne Dyer is one of my favorites. I have a whole playlist just for Wayne, because he deserves his whole playlist. He's got audiobooks for free on YouTube. He's passed away now, so a lot of his content it's not, you don't have to pay for it. Alan Watts is great. I've been drawn to introspection and yoga and meditating and just being in the moment, being conscious. I hope you guys try it. I hope you all give it a try and just see where it takes you. Be grateful and be appreciative. Something that I've been doing every night is falling asleep saying things I'm grateful for out loud and I fall asleep doing it. Like, the things I'm grateful for, the things that I have and that I want. And then the first thing when I wake up in the morning, I'm doing the same thing. And things are really starting to just pan out. Like, there was a tough go there for a while for me. And when you try to fight against stuff, it just makes it harder. And when you hate every minute of something that you're doing, it's only going to make things worse. Things will get worse and worse until you're like forced to quit or something bad happens. It's like when you're in a bad mood and you hurt yourself and then something goes wrong and then it just becomes this cascading downward spiral of shit. One shitty thing after another. But if you stop it in the moment, you're feeling like you're in a mood and you like hit your knee and then you got to be like, okay, hold on. Back up. Stopping this right now. Because if you don't, things are going to continue that way and your day is going to be shot. And that's not fun. You can change it at any moment, but you have to choose it. You have to consciously make that choice and decide how you want your days to be. Decide what content you look at and pay attention to. Decide how you want your life to move forward. Do you want to wind up in a FEMA camp? Do you want to wind up, I don't know, medically kidnapped or something crazy? I mean, we have to start waking up and stop paying attention to that kind of stuff. I know some people don't choose it. I understand that. But they also don't understand that they have the power to create what they do want. So let's use the medical kidnapping thing as an example. Instead of like praying for the person to be, or like, let's say somebody's, here's a good example. Here's an example. I went to a prayer group the other week and they wanted to pray for this couple who was going on a road trip across the country and they wanted to pray that nothing bad happens. Something bad's gonna happen then. Their mindset is on bad things happening. You have to pray for safety and protection. Pray that the trip goes smoothly. Pray for them in that they have a fun, exciting, safe, and, timely journey. You choose which perspective do you want to express. You can't pray against something. It's like when you say, don't think of the pink elephant. What are you going to do? You are going to think of a pink elephant. You can't not do something. You have to put your intentions and your thoughts on what it is that you want. And that's where people are screwing it up. So, anyways, with that being said, I'm out of here. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my evening and keep on manifesting, friends. Let me know if any of this resonates with you and share some of the cool things that you're able to create. Let's create a better world and let's create the things that we want. We can do it, but you have to stay conscious and you have to make an effort. So I hope this sits well with you and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day.